Hey, I hope you're having a fabulous week. For me, it's Tuesday morning. If you listened to last week's Mindful Monday, you know that I've been on a fast and I'm officially now on day 8. So I have not watched any television at all. Now, I really didn't think that it would affect me as much as it has. This is a 21-day fast, and I thinking when I started, it's just 3 weeks of no TV. That's easy. Well, it is, but it isn't. Thankfully, I'm really busy creating and working, but those 3 to 4 days in the beginning, whoa, I was stressed. I didn't realize how often I would sit and watch an episode here and there of something. Then that one episode turned to 2, then to 3. Then Netflix starts being a hater and asking if I'm still watching. Like, yeah, man, I'm still watching, wasting my life. You putting out good ass content. Like, damn, let me be a bum without being judged. Really, I'm judging myself because when you're watching all these episodes, you're like, girl, you've been here now for 3 hours. Do something. But I'm so happy that I have not broken my fast, and in turn, I've been ridiculously focused. I've been so focused that I've literally told myself, hey, girl, I'm proud of you. Sometimes you have to tell yourself that you're proud of yourself because most people have no idea what you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. We smile all day, post pretty pictures, and no one else gets to see the struggle behind that smile and those pretty posts that you're putting up. So I want to take a quick moment before we start to congratulate all of my students from my Idea to Launch Academy. We are in week 2 of the podcast intensive course, and you guys are killing it. The Idea to Launch Academy, it's been in the works for me for about a year, but it's just now blossoming into everything that I thought that it would be. And it could be, and we're just, growing. I wanted to prove the method of helping others launch their podcast, hit podcasts in 30 days. And honey, it works. I don't know why I wanted to prove myself so much, but I have. And it's here. I also, within the academy, want to offer podcasters. So all the podcasters out there, all the resources to make sure that after they launch their show and while they're going, now they're a couple of months in, episodes in, for you guys to have all the tools you need for success. So I want to announce that I'll be opening the course to everyone January 27th. You'll be able to enroll in the course and follow the 5-week course at your own pace. You can literally you can launch your show way before the 30 days if you want to. You're literally able to. You also get a one-on-one consultation with me. You get to pick my brain on all of your content. The courses will have a bunch of other bonuses and a surprise. So make sure that you register for a free webinar that I'm about launching your podcast in 30 days. I will link all that information on the description of the show. Now, I want you to brace yourselves because today's show is going to be a crazy one. Actually, I'm not sure if crazy is the word, but it could be crazy. I'm so grateful for Vyky. She is the guest this week, and I'm telling you, it takes one hell of a fucking woman to agree to do this with me. I don't want to go too much into detail because we're going to break it all down, but Vyky is the wife of the man that I dated years ago. Yes, the married man that I thought was my man. Then once I figured out he was married, I just wanted him to be my man. But in all reality, he was her man. And not just her man, but her husband, So this episode was recorded a few weeks ago. So when you hear me referencing to meeting with her for the first time earlier this year, it was actually the top of 2019. So, okay, this is enough of me talking. Let me shut up now and get started with the show. Welcome to the Shit I'm 30 podcast. This is the weekly show where we discuss and share our unfiltered opinions on topics such as mental health, relationships. Sometimes it gets a little kinky and we talk about sex, parenting, and so much more. With me, your host, Carla Ramirez. Now, my goal is to get rid of society's expectations about where we should be when we're in our 30s and just free ourselves to live the lives that we've always dreamed of. Now, friends, remember, it is never too late. This episode is going to be one of the most probably mature, adult, and insane things that I've ever done. If I think about it, because I did something crazy earlier this year. I'm very open on this platform. I'm very transparent. I chose that if I'm going to do this, I want to be able to impact people in a certain type of way from my mistakes, my life, my doings, my good or bad, whichever it is that I go through. So I, earlier this year, contacted the wife that I told you guys I dated a man that was married years ago. I contacted her and I said, would you like to have coffee with me?
Coffee ended up being wine.
Yes. So she was, well, you responded and you were like, actually, I don't drink coffee. How about we go have a drink? And I was like, boom, right up my alley. Lunch, food, and wine. I'm there. So now you're here.
Here we are. I know. Crazy.
How crazy is that?
So freaking crazy.
And I think that was before I even saw the episode of the Red Table Talk. Did you see that with Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's ex-wife?
I did see that one.
And I was like, oh,
it's crazy.
So, but it was amazing for me to see that two women were able to do that. And after you and I were supposed to have coffee for 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes, ended up being hours of talking and eating and just hanging out. We're here. But before we get started and, give you the backstory, how we ended up here today and paint you the whole picture and really what I want to talk to you guys about, because it's not so much of that downside. I want you guys to get to know like the women that are sitting here, how this came about. We're going to go into the shit you should know. And I'm not sure, are you like a fruit eater? Do you like to eat healthy?
I love fruit. Fruit is my favorite thing to eat.
Okay, good.
I had grapes in the car right over here.
It's probably why you look the way you do. I had pretzels. There's a group of farmers and researchers that created an apple. So I'm actually allergic to apples. I can drink apple juice. I can have apple, what's it called? Apple pie if it's cooked. But the fresh apple, I can't bite into it. I get
all of them?
Yes.
Wow.
I get in pears, cherries, like certain ones that give me an allergic reaction.
Oh.
So this group of farmers created an apple. It's called the Cosmic Crisp that they received $10.5 million in marketing budget because the apple lasts a year.
Stop.
It has a year shelf life.
There's no such thing.
Right. So it's being backed by $10.5 million marketing campaign.
Wow.
And they say that this is the apple that the world has been waiting for. Imagine the possibilities. So when I see that, I'm like, the possibilities of what?
A long-lasting apple that will keep you lasting longer?
So immediately I was like, I don't want that. But you're seeing how hard they're pushing it. The very first case of it in boxes they brought to a school. This is all happening in Washington at the moment. Mm-hmm. To a school, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Bring it to, the younger generation where they don't, because I feel like the younger kids really don't care about anything or don't pay attention to a lot of things.
Right.
And they're like, okay, well, let's just grab an apple and eat it, And then I'm thinking, you remember Adam and Eve? They said, don't touch that apple. And now we're going to go and touch this damn apple that's going to last forever.
Well, okay, so I like the thought process behind it just because it creates shelf life longevity. But with shelf life longevity, that makes me question what's in the apple.
So they did a hybrid between two separate apples. Okay. It's like a Honey Crisp and something else.
I love Honey Crisp.
So it's called the Cosmic because there's like these dots on it, these yellow dots on it that looks like the cosmic, like it's like the space, and it doesn't allow in certain amount of oxygens or carbon dioxide, so it doesn't spoil it. It does cost about double the price of a regular apple. But do you really need an apple to sit on the shelf for a year?
No, you don't need it to sit on the shelf for a year, but a strong 30 days does seem good to me. Like, they didn't need to do 365 days, but like 30 days would be good because you get all this fruit and then all of a sudden there's an apple there and it starts to spoil and you're like, oh, I should eat that apple because I paid for that apple, but it looks a little spotty and brown.
Right. And Ayana loves apples. So I can't eat them, but I usually buy the bags of apples. I don't think it's Honey Crisp. There's another one she likes.
Honey Crisp is the best. Okay, Fuji's good too. Yes,
I think those are the ones. Whichever one it is always the most expensive one. And I'm like, girl, come on. There's another red one right there. I don't know about apples because I don't taste them. So they taste different. Apparently,
they do. They do.
Well, I don't pay attention to it. But now I know these are more expensive. But I look at this as the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Have you tried it?
I have not because I don't eat sandwiches. What? I know. I'm the pickiest eater in the world.
We talked about that. Yes. That you're really picky to eat.
Super picky. I don't eat sandwiches. So
do you eat bread?
No, not really. Like garlic bread, like with spaghetti or something. But like, no, not a
big bread eater. Oh, okay, makes sense. When I haven't had one.
You haven't had one yet?
No, but I don't think I want one. It was such a big hype, and I get it, but I'm like, what are they putting in these chicken to like mass produce it, and we're putting it into our body, and then we're gonna find out 10 years from now that everyone that had a chicken sandwich has cancer.
Totally.
I just don't know. And I'm seeing the same thing behind this apple.
Right.
And I think broccoli is one of those man-made vegetables. Mm-hmm. It's like it was produced or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah.
I know seedless watermelons weren't supposed to be seedless.
They definitely weren't.
But I love the seedless watermelon.
Why would you want a seed in your mouth?
I don't want a seed. Take it out for me so I can cut it up and just eat it.
Right. I love that. And I love broccoli. It's not that it's fake. It's just like this one. It's genetically
enhanced. Like
I think
genetically
created.
Sure.
Yeah, something like that. It's like, I guess it's like mixed people, you know? And then like we created a whole new race. Like everybody's gonna be mixed.
Yeah.
So
everything is gonna become its own mesh. We're gonna go to the store and get one thing because everything's been blended into that one thing.
Right. So I see it this way. I don't think I want this apple for my daughter. And some people said, oh, it's great because some people get spoiled with the fact that you can't have certain fruits year round. And I'm thinking to myself,
oh, that's a great idea. That's okay. I
but
see
I
that.
don't think we're supposed to eat every fruit year round.
But
our body, you should change what you
could.
eat.
That's true too. But it's fruit. Fruit you should want to eat all year long. And for me, right now, I just found out it's not navel orange season anymore. Because the last 2 bags of navel oranges I've gotten have tasted so sour, it's ridiculous. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm done with oranges until when? Summer?
That's a Florida thing for sure.
But see, if I had the 365-day apple and I really like the apple, I could have the apple, get as many as I want right now and have them in winter. Perfect. I want the apple. I want to try the apple.
Okay, well, you go to Washington for right now.
Okay, perfect.
But they're planning on bringing it to different places. I don't want the apple.
You don't want the
Even
apple.
if I wasn't allergic to them. Yeah, if they would do
I
like
feel
a banana.
I may be able to get it in like a salad for you and you'd be like, oh my gosh, it's the best
so
salad
I
ever.
don't like salads with fruit.
Okay, well, I'm going to get it into a smoothie for you or something.
Maybe. I do green apples and smoothies. I do. And they're saying it's better for baking. It's supposed to be better for everything. I don't want anything genetically enhanced. I don't know. I just want it the way it's supposed to be.
I get it.
And I'll eat it when it's fresh and when it's not. The ones that really spoil, like I said, is the bananas.
Oh, totally.
In 2 days. I literally only buy like 3.
Yeah, you have to. If not, they turn black and then it's like, well, do I make banana bread?
I don't know how to make banana bread.
I don't either.
Oh.
I don't either. But I always feel like that's what I should do.
That's what you were going to make.
No, I always, whenever I see the black bananas on the counter, I'm like, perfect. I'm going to make some banana bread. Do I ever make banana bread? No.
You end up throwing it out.
Yes.
So what I do, a good thing, I don't know if you make smoothies at home ever.
Yes.
But when they start browning, I'll open them, put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze it.
And so I do that also to make banana bread because I'm stuck on this banana bread thing. I have no idea. I don't even like banana bread.
Okay, stop.
But I feel like that's what people do with bananas. They make banana bread. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to freeze this banana. I never thought about the smoothie. That's a great idea.
The smoothie is great.
But I thought about putting it in banana bread, but I don't.
I love going to Wawa and getting the banana bread from the counter.
See, I'm going to make the banana bread and bring it to you. You eat banana bread.
I love banana bread. See? Banana nut bread.
Oh, I got to add nuts to it.
I love nuts.
I will find you some nuts to put into your banana bread.
I don't know. I don't even know which nuts they put in, but whichever nuts, I'm sure I'll be just fine. Well, anyway, Vyky.
Yes.
Who is Vyky? So we'll paint. I told you I didn't want to like linger on the subject, but it's still a subject that I feel like it's something we're not the only ones, nor will we be. Have we been the last ones or will we be the last ones ever? No, it's going to happen forever. In 2011-ish, I started dating a guy. I find out months later that he was married. And when I found out, which is where I always say that was my fault, I stayed in a relationship. So I stayed in a relationship for a while until, and this is coming from, you'll get to hear both sides. So to me, I'm like, the wife finds out, everything blows up to me in front of in my face. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm 24, 25 at the time. Life is over because you're 25 and it's just going to be for the rest of your life.
Right.
And everything basically like it goes bad. We spoke to each other because we did the whole thing. It's like, I'm this person. It blows up. And it ends for me. But once it ends, there's still feelings there and that you harbor for a long time. And even though you and I spoke, there was still animosity. I don't think for me, at least, wasn't the word. Maybe just anger, hurt that was left behind. And then the years passed. I got into a new relationship and basically moved on. And I didn't look back maybe until 2-3 years later, when I spoke to him again. It's like, wow, we had a friendship before there was a relationship in there, period. And then earlier this year, or maybe either earlier this year or late last year, I came into this creative space. And I leave my job and I'm now networking and being out. And it had been the 3rd time where I see you. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep running into this woman. Now you end up in the same space. we were not in the same spaces at all before. Now, all these years later, we end up like interacting with the same people, the same crowds, the same places. And I'm like, I'm going to keep running into her.
Yeah.
So I think it was at Loud the last time that I saw you and you were walking straight towards me. And I was just like, oh, turn around. What do I do now? Like, what the, and then just ended up where every time I stood somewhere, I went, you were right there. And I'm like, I'm not saying hi. Like, fuck, not me. So I left, and that's all I can think about. I'm like, I have to speak to this woman at some point. I knew enough about you from when we had spoken. It had been so long. I'm like, I know she's not a bad person, but I was still that woman. So I wanted to talk to you because I think we hear more of the side of the other woman that go on a microphone, but not the wife and how they felt, what they experienced, what it was like for them. So we can then go into how we as women got here today, how we were able to even sit in front of each other to speak. So I want to go back to how it all felt for you.
So for me, so we got into the club business, you know, I, from a very young age, I realized that my role or what I wanted in a relationship was to let a man lead the relationship. It was something that I always craved and wanted because I lacked a father in my life. And so I noticed that from after years of talking to therapy or talking to a therapist, now seeing where it is that I am in my life, that's something that I've always wanted. So in my relationship with him, that's what it is that I tried to do. I tried to build him up, tried to like push him forward, tried to like let him lead the family. And so within leading the family, he wanted to get into the club scene. To me, I can do it. I just didn't really want to be in it. Right. So a year goes by where we go out, and every time we go out, I would always get like touched, like grabbed at, like my butt, like my breasts. Like I'm just like getting antagonized like when I go out. And then when women would see me, they would think that I had fucked my way up, right? And so I didn't feel good ever whenever I went out. So I felt not good by the men, and I felt not good by women because there was no camaraderie. And so I was like, listen, you do that, I'm gonna stay home because I don't need to go out to make money. We're already making money with the club without me needing to go out. So I let him handle that. Within going out, I didn't realize that there was a part of him that wanted somebody out with him while I was at home taking care of our child, like taking care of everything that needed to the foundation of like a home. He was out turning up and handling the business. When I found out about you, it was like a year into the club, right? And so when I found out, first off, I found out like a year late, like into it, because like I just didn't know. And people always ask me like, how did you not know?
I think like, how did you not know? You knew.
I had no idea. I swear to you, I had no idea. I'm just that. And I don't know if at the time, if it was just more naive, because like it was, mind you, I had my son at 21. And so like 19, I think is when we, 19 or 20 is when we met. I really hadn't had a relationship from there. I realized that we can build something together. And so then like that was my focus. Within that focus, I became very, okay, you go lead. Okay, you go be the man. I'm going to stay here and take care of the home front while you go ahead and do whatever you're doing.
That role they tell us to play as a woman and wife.
Yeah. And so within that, if he ever had a side conversation or had to step out to go handle some business, or if he had to go leave real quick to handle some business or to pick up what he would tell me like money or somebody who owed him something or whatever the case may be, business, I trusted and believed that because I had no other reason not to. You know his personality, and he's very loving, sweet, and very honest. You know what I mean? It's something that honestly came from left field from him. If you know him, it doesn't seem like his character.
Yeah, I've gotten asked that question so many times. Like, do you really think? But I'm like, if you know who the guy is, he's a really good person at the end of the day. Very quiet, very reserved. I think probably always walked in a straight path.
Totally.
Which is why when I'm on the other side, I'm like, You lie, okay.
Exactly, right.
So you wouldn't believe it was a person that was lying.
Not at all. So when...
No, go ahead.
So when I found out about everything, it was a complete like, what are you talking about? And mind you, the way I found out is because like I think there was like a Miami trip or something. He went to Miami and he was like, I told him I wanted to go. Like I was like, cool, like I'll go with you. And he's like, no, you know, my friend really, really wants us to hang out by ourselves. And I'm like, okay, cool. So like on his way down there, I call him because like I just wanted to, I remember this moment. Like this is the moment that I remember. I remember when he was on the road to Miami. I was like, I called him and he always picks up my call. And I called him and I left a voicemail and I was like, hey, you know, I just feel like there's something off, you know, like I want you to know that you can talk to me about whatever. Like, let's go ahead and fix it because I'm a very methodical, like I'm a very realistic person where I see that there was something not right. Like he was more cold to me when I was like, I'm not doing anything. And there was just like a distance when there was just no need for a distance. That's when I think I started noticing things weren't right, is towards that point. He went to Miami. He didn't call me at all. I think you guys had taken a trip to Miami. So then when he got back, I remember leaving to go take Tyre to Toys R Us just because of something. I had to get out of the house. We got into an argument about something, and he had left his one of his cell phones in the car that I was with. And it was his other cell phone that he would give Tyre to play. So I told Tyre, I was like, here, use mommy's phone. Let me use that phone just because I wanted to check it. I had never checked anything before. I never had a reason to check, or maybe I had checked something before. But then he got very, very smart and he put it underneath a different name, a guy's name that he told me he was always dealing with. But then I started looking at the context of the conversation and I was like, wait, this isn't making sense at all.
Right.
So then I started like piecing things together, and I remember going to Toys R Us, which is the craziest thing. I had my son with me, going to Toys R Us and then seeing that there was a correlation between your name and then the other person's name. So like you guys were talking the same, and I'm like, he's cheating on me. I'm like, I broke down in Toys R Us. Toys R Us. No, I wasn't. I left because for some reason something was off. I took Tyre, my son, and then I went to Toys R Us and I just boohoo cried. Like I was so taken back at the fact that that could have happened underneath. Like I just was so like jolted.
Right.
Rug ripped from underneath you. Like my entire foundation, everything that I was building my family on was not accurate. You know what I mean? And so I remember calling my best friend, like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. At that point, I text him. I was like, get out of the house. Like, I can't get out. I don't want to see your face when I get home. When I got home, he was still like putting stuff into the car. And then after that, it kind of started our whole like getting to know each other.
I remember when I got the phone call, I was at a friend at the time's house. And it was so... I think it's a moment you'll never forget, because when the way you're explaining now where you were, I'm just thinking back to where I was when I got the phone call, and that day is still so vivid in my mind because I think it's a feeling, even though like I'm past it. When I think about it, I don't feel pain and I don't feel like there's no anger there anymore. But I remember how strong I felt. I was by a windowsill and my phone was dying, so I remember having it. I'm just stuck glued. I'm like, no. I'm like, what do you mean? But she knew. Like why is it a big deal right now? I know she knew, and he's like, she didn't, and I'm like, there's no way. That I was there for your birthday. There were all
birthday.
I believe it was yours or his. It might have been yours. Did you do yours at the club at any point?
No,
I'll never forget. You had a white dress.
Probably his birthday.
Because we left and you were there. And I mean, for context, I don't think I've added this on. I worked at the club that he owned. And for the first 6 months, I had no idea he was part of the club. He would lie about it, or not even lie. It's just, everyone just thought he was just a regular there. No one knew that he was a silent partner.
Right.
So I thought you knew. And that was, to me, I'm like, oh, it was so devastating. But at that time, I never thought about you. So then I would think you reached out to me and we broke night. I'll never forget that night.
On which one?
We broke night speaking all through the night. Like,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
you hit
yeah.
me maybe sometime that evening and we stayed up probably until 6 a.m. in the morning. Just talking. And
Yeah.
I remember there's one word or one statement you said to me and you're like a younger me.
I still, it was so creepy. I get goosebumps like thinking about it right now. Like, it was crazy talking to you. It was so crazy talking to you. So I just wanted to ask you though, because you said you felt like I knew and like you were so angry. Who were you angry at?
I don't know. I think I was angry at the entire. I was like, well, does it end? Where do we go from here? Why is everyone? I was so naive to the entire thing. I'm like, why is everybody so angry? Why is this a big deal? It's been out for, it's been over a year. There's pictures. There's, everyone
knew. And that was my thing. When I, like, coming out of that, once I saw that shit, everybody knew, I was the only one who didn't know. I was so taken back by the people I had called friends, by the community I had let into my life. Like, I was so stonewalled. Like, I was so taken back. That's why I distanced myself. That's why I was like, oh, okay.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because this situation showed me who my friends were. Because the same way I'm from hearing from you now, you're like, all these people knew.
Everybody.
And everyone smiled in my face and didn't say anything. The same thing happened to me in reverse after. Because all of you knew. All of you were all about, hashtag goals. You know how everyone's just sucking dick all day.
Yeah.
So once it ends, I retract myself from the club scene. You enter like, I'm here. And which is what you did as your wife, or like, now that I know, I'm coming out as you should. Because if I'm staying here, you guys are going to see me and I'm not going to allow what just happened happen. And now I'm looking at the circle of people and I'm like, y'all fake motherfuckers.
I mean, yeah.
What? So it showed me one, that the club space and that entertaining face, it's bullshit. People are
totally.
If you have a bottle in a section, a little bit of money, they're your best friends.
Or Louboutins.
Or Louboutin.
Yes.
Honey, wear a pair of red bottoms, they all want to be your friend.
That's what it's like. It was so bonkers to me to like, again, like kind of like jumping forward. That's why that's why I had to change. I had to change trajectory and try to change or create a bridge for a community that I saw had capped themselves because they were capping themselves, right? To show them that there's more out here. There's corporate America out here. There's networking out here. There's strategic partnerships out here. Whereas if we help each other out, we can build businesses together. We can make money together outside of trapping, outside of whatever it is that we're doing that can get us arrested. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more. And I just don't know if it was a lack of knowing that there was more, or just a young mentality of not caring about other people to even try to interfere and try to create more with somebody because you're just so living in the moment. Like, I really don't know what it is.
I think it was a mixture of it all. We were young. And I think it was during the era that, at least for us, because I go to the club now and I don't see it, and I still have friends that are in the lifestyle, like the money's not the same. The people aren't the same. That, I think we lived through a crazy era of clubbing and Chanel purses and, like you said, Louboutins. You walk out with a pair of red bottoms and you were the queen of Zimbabwe, when you walk out there. And now I just had a conversation with a friend of mine. She's like, I want these shoes. And I'm like, honey, she's like, I think so. She was like, well, maybe it'll for status. And I said, that doesn't give you status.
That does not give you status.
I'd rather buy me 4 pairs of Steve Maddens and look bomb as fuck and walk out and really be in the room I'm supposed to be than be in a room that I'm not supposed to be with the right pair of shoes where a photographer is going to catch a picture.
Right.
All for looks. That's not what I want. When I have this platform, I look at the back end. Who am I impacting? What am I changing? What is my bank account looking like? Not necessarily how many likes and followers I'm getting or who's praising me, that I really don't need them to praise me.
Totally.
So there was a question that I received because I've talked about this before, and when I spoke to my Patreons, shout out to my Patreons, yeah, they're real special to me because they're like my community. They actually they get all the extra content from me. One of the questions they asked is why did we do the back and forth thing after we were aware? Because there was, I believe, a month and a half, maybe a month during that Christmas, because it was right around Christmas.
It was right after Thanksgiving. It was right after I moved into our brand new built house. We had waited 6-7 months, built a house from the ground up. I thought I was living my dream, and then moved in right before Thanksgiving. I asked them just get it done by Thanksgiving because I wanted to have first Thanksgiving there. Had all of my family there, had Thanksgiving there. Thanksgiving Day, he left to go pick up money. And I found out later on that he left to go spend time with you, which hurt like
how did you
hell.
find that out?
Because I read it on text messages, or I asked him just to be honest with me, like tell me. Like at that point, like once I knew, I wanted to make sense of things that didn't make sense to me before. So like on Thanksgiving, mind you, I understand that the indigenous people were like, you know what, we're
celebrating a massacre,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
We're
but like
looking at
I don't
else.
think about it like that.
Right.
I think about it at this time of like fellowship with my family, right? And so it's one of my favorite holidays because I love to cook and I love to be around my family and I love to host, right? So it's one of my favorite holidays. So for a significant other to know that it's my favorite holiday and to still leave on my favorite holiday and then not return, you know what I mean? Like that was so off to me. And I think either I asked or I saw, but he had left to go see you. And then that's like another like,
stab.
Like, it was just like stab after stab after stab. But like when I talked to you, going back to the question, once everything happened and I found out that he was cheating on me, I wanted to know who that person was.
Okay, ladies and gents, let's take a quick break from the show. And I wanted to ask you, have you been noticing this trend amongst your friends in social media of engagement? Yup, it's engagement season. I just recently saw one that went viral, and it was this young man took his, girlfriend to the movies, and then all of a sudden the movie turned into this animation of Sleeping Beauty, and the prince throws the ring into the crowd. He catches it and then proposes to her, and she realizes that her friends and family are in the theater. It was so cute. Anyways, I say out to tell you is that, honey, like I said, it is engagement season and Zola is here to save the day. Zola makes wedding planning easier and less stressful with wedding websites, registry, invites, and a guest list manager all in one place. Just thinking about just those few things that you have to do make me anxious. They have free wedding website designs, hundreds of gorgeous designs for every style, and it's easy to create your site in minutes. Lord knows I cannot create a website to save my life. Zola is the highest rated registry of all time. Register for gifts, experiences, honeymoon funds, because y'all know I want to go to Bali for my honeymoon, so I need y'all to give me some coins. Add gifts from other stores, or you can even sync existing registries over to Zola. They have beautiful, affordable invites and paper. I didn't even know paper was a thing for weddings, but it is. So you can shop your whole paper suite at Zola, from save the dates to invites and thank yous, all designed to match your wedding website. So you're going to look official. You hear me? They're going to help you collect addresses and track online RSVPs with a free guest list manager. Now, Zola has already helped 1 million couples get married, and now they want to help you too. So go to Zola.com/Carla30 today, like right now, if you just got engaged, and use the promo code SAVE50 to get 50% off Save the Dates. Now, you have to go get those save the dates and make sure that when you get that 50% off, you send me one. I want to go to weddings. You can get a free personalized paper sample also before you purchase. So that's 50% off save the dates at Zola.com/Carla30. So that's Carla30. Promo code SAVE50. All right, so now that I hooked you up, let's get back to this show and happy wedding planning.
Like, I wanted to know, because the only thing I couldn't make sense of is, like, for me, like, if you know me, like, I get that he may have said lies or whatever about me and stuff, but, like, I'm really like,
actually, he never did.
no,
He never,
well,
and that's one thing
good.
I can tell you. And I think that comes with who he is.
Yeah.
I think he embellished, and I've talked about this, relationship issues maybe.
Right. So then
whatever was bad, maybe he made it seem like it was worse.
Right.
But he never had a personal attack towards you or said anything negative about you. And that's why I was like, he's telling the truth. Because I mean,
what would he say that I knew?
Oh no
Oh,
no
okay.
no
I wanna know.
no. He never really went into detail. He was just like things weren't working out, or that you guys were separated, things like that. And I'm like, well, it makes sense. You're here,
right?
Like we left, like she's right there, and then and then you go
exactly.
home, and then he doesn't go home, and I'm like, you guys are definitely. It made sense.
Made sense.
For me, it made sense because I wasn't seeing. Now there was a trip to DC.
Yeah, my birthday trip.
I still remember that trip because there was a picture. So were you wearing? There's a white dress
in that picture. Yeah.
I know there's a white dress somewhere because I was like, something's wrong here. I don't understand. He's like, it's because her family. We have to put front. And I was like, oh, okay. You wouldn't lie to me. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And again, I think this comes from, I think it's a special, definitely not special, but different situation that we had. Because he was so honest and such a nice guy that you wouldn't think he was lying. I feel like sometimes you hear from men being so brute and just like mean. No, and he never was.
No. Mm-mm. So he just, and like thinking back on it, like he is a lover. And when he fell like in love, he literally was like in an oh shit moment. Like, what do I do? Because I don't want to hurt either. You know what I mean? Right. And like past that, like I completely understand. Like I understand his thought process. I think how he did it is kind of fucked up. But like, sure. Within all of that. And it's
something that would have never worked. So now I think back and I wanted it so bad.
Man, I wanted it to work for you guys, which is so weird.
What?
I know. And I get that's like super weird. But like, again, after me talking to you and after us having like a little bit of conversation, it was like you were a younger me, which I get is a super weird statement, but like I wanted to know what it is that he saw in you that I wasn't able to provide or give.
And I think that's what we do as women. And it's not fair to ourselves because it had nothing to do with you.
Yeah, but easier said than done. Correct. Because people kept telling me that over and over, and my therapist kept telling me it's not about that, and I'm like, well bitch, what the fuck is it about then? Because like I'm telling you, like right. I just want to know, like tell me exactly what it is, and that way like I know, like, oh okay, it's this, like give me a tangible. Nobody could give me a tangible,
right? And
so like me wanting to talk to you was like I want to see for myself what that tangible is. And like within talking to you, it didn't seem like there were that many differences. You just were more of a hip hop head. You know what I mean? Like you just listened to more music than I did. You just were more. No?
Nah.
Okay, well
I was in the scene.
Okay.
I was out. I was.
You guys. Okay.
Yeah, he would put me on the. He's a music.
He's
head.
a music.
I know nothing.
I didn't care about that.
But
okay.
But I guess because it was playing. I'm a Radiohead. If it's in the radio and if it's out and it's popular, I know it. He knows underground music. I know whatever's out.
So then you were there, right?
I think so.
And so then within that, it was like, so then what is the contrast of me and you? Was it just my lack of not being there?
I think, and I told him this before, because we are very similar. And I think we approach relationships very similar. And the more that I've gotten to know you within time, there were a lot of things that he was growing into himself, and my mouth is a lot, and I don't take shit from anyone, and I would see him get shit from people in the club.
You were protecting him.
So there was this sense of protection. It's like, don't fuck with him. Or if I'm in the back and I would hear something and I'm like, that's not how much he's supposed to get charged. I'm there and I'm like, who is this? I'm ready to put paws on somebody, men or not, because I was in the background. So even if you were there, you would have never known what was going on in the background. Totally. So then when I thought about it, I'm like, I'm protecting his money and her money too. Why, thank you. I'm protecting both their shit. So I think there was also a shift with him as a man. Totally. That had nothing to do with you. And I believe, I didn't get it at first, but I'm like, he's not I don't know if he's out of love with her. I don't know if he's a different person now, but it had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with me. And when they asked me, why did you guys go back and forth? For me, it was more like, it was just stuck in that emotional moment at the time.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing for it is, like, I thought about emotional versus physical cheating. So
totally,
this specific situation was a huge emotional affair instead of a physical affair. To me, I'm like, I don't want to be cheated on, but I've gotten cheated on. And I think that to me, it was karma. Before then, I had never been cheated on. And I believe in one of our conversations, I told you I never felt like I got cheated on. Even if he went home to you, I never felt cheated on. And I go to another relationship where, boom, within the get-go, I was like, he cheated on me. And I remember that day. And I was like, you motherfucker, I've been with a married man and never got cheated on, bitch. Like, you gonna come and cheat on me? What? So that's the first time I felt the pain that I caused into someone else. And when I started feeling guilty about the feelings that I had of wanting to still be in that relationship, I said I had no business wanting to be there or even wanting it to work. Like, how could that even work when it was fed off of lies at the end of the day? Whether the feelings were real or not, there were lies. It was an underlying thing that wasn't supposed to be there. But I think I told him I didn't know how strong of a woman you were to actually stay for as long, because you were there longer than I thought you would be.
Yes. So for me, if it was physical, like purely physical, I can handle that. Like I'm a realist, like a super realist, right? Like I understand forever is a very long time, right? Forever. Like I'm going to be with you forever. Whew. When you make that statement and we have 100 years to live here on earth, and I got with you when I was 21, I knew it was going to happen. And I talked to it about him. I talked to him about it happening. I'm like, I know this is going to happen. I just asked you to be honest with me. We've had this conversation before we were married, when we were married. I always said, it's going to happen. I just asked you to be honest with me and let me know if it does happen. That's all I ever asked. I remember there was one day when we were living in our other house before we moved into the house we built, and he came home. Sorry if I'm giving like too much information here right now.
He's going to kill us, right?
Hold on. Let me take another drink real quick. Because, hold on.
He's going to kill us. I don't think he's ever listened to an episode. This might be the one he tunes into.
No. Danny, if you're listening, just don't listen to this one, please. Don't. But he came home with a hickey, right? And I was like, I remember cracking up. I was like, what is that? And he's like, what? Trying to hide it. I'm like, Danny, I'm so sorry. Was I supposed to say his name?
I'll bleep it.
Bleep. Okay. She's checking to see what area it's in.
Okay, let me write this down.
I was like, sir, you have a hickey on your neck. And he's like, nah, I don't. And I'm like, yes, you do. And he's like, nah. And I'm like, you have a hickey. Tell me what happened. And he's like, oh, all right. So I was in an elevator and my friend, and then he like, this girl was on him and she came on me and she just attacked me in the elevator and I couldn't do anything about it. And I was like, oh,
okay,
look at you.
symbol.
I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was like, okay, that's it. That's all you had to tell me. Now let's go about our day. What are you making for lunch? Or what are you making for dinner? You don't understand. That's what I'm saying. If anybody who knows me, I'm the most chill, relaxed. Like, I'm a go with the flow kind of person. Right. Like, I'm not that like nagging, antagonizing. Like, that's not me. Right. That's not in me.
That's me.
Hi. Hi. Nice to meet you.
No, but I'm changing my life. I'm trying to do better.
But like, it just wasn't in me. So like, when I found out that it was emotional, that's the thing that I was like, you love? Like, there's love? Like, there's moments that were created, you know, like there's Thanksgiving. There's when my son first lost his tooth. Like, you know, when I started picking the moments, those are the things that hurt me the worst.
Right. And I didn't take into consideration, then again, selfishness, I think comes into it. Being naive, being young, being just unaware of other people's feelings.
Totally.
You know, that I didn't think of that. Like being around your son, I should have never done that. But we do that when we're blinded by something that we want so bad and don't think about the consequences. I never thought about the consequences of this, of how it would make me look, of a marriage that I destroyed because, okay, he has fault in it.
You didn't destroy it. I just want to like take that vernacular out of your mouth. You didn't destroy anything. Like, I will admit that I had faults within the relationship. Like, I totally take ownership of that.
So that was a question that they wanted me to ask. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to ask this question because I'm in it this way. They said, what do you think were the things that you might have contributed to maybe him either stepping out or the marriage not working?
So I am very, as people say, like strong-minded or strong, whatever the case may be. I'm very strong, and the whole thing is that I've been like searching for my relationship, and now that I'm happy that I found a relationship where it makes sense. But I'm very, very strong within a relationship, but I want the man to lead, right? So like I try to like guide them, but within guiding them, maybe that's not the course they want to go. And then I also wasn't growing with him. Like, we weren't growing together. Like, I let him grow and do his own thing while I was growing and doing my own thing. And so like within that, red flags, red flags, red flags, red flags. Like, if you're talking to a marriage counselor, like, those aren't things that you should do.
Gotcha.
And like from previous things in our relationship, there were times that I was unfaithful in like texting communication with like an old boyfriend or something like that. And I know that that like resonated, and resentment builds within that. With like there's like different things that like I can say like about myself that I've taken ownership with, but then like he takes ownership with as well. Like, there were things that I wanted in a relationship that he wasn't able to provide, and there were things that he wanted in a relationship that I wasn't able to provide. And us being very, very young in a relationship together, our expectations of each other weren't being met.
And that's why I'm so adamant now that I'm 30, you know, because I'm so old and I have all this experience in the world. I don't think anybody should get married before 30.
Yeah.
I don't think marriage should be done before then. I don't think we know who we are. And it's just something that was one of my aha moments. Like, shit, I'm 30. You turn 30 and you start realizing who I was at 18, at 21, at 25, at 29 is not who I am now at 32.
Oh, totally. And it won't be who you are at 42.
Right. And you said something that now I'm doing with my new relationship, which I absolutely adore. And it's what you're saying, you want a man to lead. I never allowed a man to lead. There was no leading. And even with him, there was no leading. I'm like, who we fighting? You know, what are we doing? Like, this is what we need to do. Like, I was still a wild person then. And then in my next relationship, it's like, I want to have the pants on. Don't tell me what to do. You do you, I do me. It's still separate. Now I have a man, and it feels amazing, that can lead, and leads with like spirituality, leads with actions. And I'm like, wow, is this what it's supposed to be like?
Right.
You know, and if you're thinking about marriage even one day, that's what a marriage should be. That, but how are we supposed to know that at 21?
Right, totally.
You know, we're just looking at 21 at doing what you did, which is, I'm the wife. I sit at home. I take care of the home.
But see,
while
I didn't
work.
sit at home. That's the thing.
Well, you were working.
Yes. And like, I want to like, let me try to change that, because I was talking to a mentor of mine recently, and we were having this exact conversation of me talking about my current relationship and us figuring out our roles within our relationship and who's leading. And in my relationship right now, we're co-leading, because like when I say lead, I mean, I want somebody to think more about me than I think about myself. And I want somebody who knows more about certain categories that can put me on and can lead me as a human being, like make me the best version of myself. You get what I'm saying? Like, I have a lot of things that are built into my DNA because of my upbringing, because my mother was taught by her grandmother and her mother was taught by her mother. And so like all of those traits that were built and instilled in them, that they only know what they were given at the time. And it's not that long ago that my parents were in slavery. So it's like we're still trying to figure life out. So whatever things that were rooted in me as a child, I'm still trying to unlearn at 34 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still trying to unlearn how to not be obnoxiously happy every single day, because I need to be happy every single day because I'm a child of God, and you know, I'm put here on earth and I have another day to like live. Like, I'm still learning gratefulness and like things like that. So when I say lead, I mean, I want somebody who can lead me as a human being to make me again be the best version of myself.
We have to. I think for me it was a little bit different. I didn't want to be like my mother. She was a housewife, and my mother, you know, she had to do whatever my dad said, and he was the breadwinner. So I was like, not me.
Right.
You know, so I now have to unlearn what I taught myself of wanting to be the dad. You know, I wanted to be the man. I wanted to be just like him. So I wouldn't, from my perspective, she probably enjoyed, I'm sure, because of who our parents were, they were okay with being homemakers and, you know, mothers and stay-at-home moms. That was their life. That's what they wanted. That's not what I wanted. So now I have to unlearn to say, like, okay, I can let a man lead in certain things. And that doesn't mean that I can't do my own thing. Like the relationship I'm in right now, he's my number one fan. Literally, like, pushes me. He's like, I think you're great. I think you do this. Like, talk to me about what you want to do. Talk to me about your dreams. Let's figure out how we can get you there. And that's how it should be, not just staying at home and letting a man. Because I feel like when you say lead, I had a episode with Leticia Gardner, and we were talking about submission to your husband, because she's married and she has all these things. She's like, but when I mean by submitting, he's not going to lead me the wrong way. She's like, I mean, like, she's very spiritual and religious. So she's talking about under the eyes of God, you know, lead me that way. And I'm like, that makes a lot more sense than letting a man just tell me you can only spend this amount of money every week. I'll be damned. Nigga, that's my money. No, that's not how it works. Right. One thing that I do wanted to go into outside of this is how we have grown as women from this experience, because I know who you were back then. It's not who you are now. You have like blossomed into probably who you were supposed to be,
right?
You know, the woman that you are. And I have changed 180 degrees from who I was back then. So how did this experience grow you to who you are now? Because now you're like, I think you're amazing.
Oh, I love you. So like, all right. So all right, let me just take a drink real quick. All right, so from all of this, when I started reaching out to you, it's because I had nobody else that would understand the situation more than the other person going through it, right? And so at that point, I realized that I didn't have any other women in my life that I could lean into that could give me a blueprint of how they went through a similar something and how they overcame it, right? And so what I started trying to do was figure it out on my own, because there wasn't a book that I could read of how to get over, how to deal with this specific situation in the age that we're in right now, because that book that maybe was invented or created maybe was 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, we didn't have iPhones, we didn't have computers, you know, so it's just different. So I really like took a long look in the mirror, and I remember it like as clear as the day. And I just asked myself, I said, who are you? You know, like, what is it that you want? Like, what is it that Vyky wants? What is it that you want out of life? Who is it that you were meant to be?
How old were you at the time? I think you were close to 30. I remember saying she old as hell.
I was 20. I want to say like 28. It was 2013. It's 2019. I'm 34. Somebody do the math. Something, 28. Right? So like 28, right?
Because you're like only 2 years older than me, but I wanted to be like, she's almost 30.
Right,
so she's
right.
old.
I was old, super old.
And you remember you
28.
Even when we said it, I think a million times, like, she's the younger me. I'm like, I'm only 2 years younger now.
I know,
but back
now
then
you
I'm
like that, right?
And I'm like, you know, I am kind of young.
I am younger than you. Listen, it's a total compliment. But like within that moment, I just wanted to figure out who I was, what made me happy, because I was letting somebody else take the reins of my life. And so I started to remember that I'm a creative at heart. I love to write. I love to paint. I love being creative, right? Where we had met was in fashion school. So like I started by getting into everything that made me me. And within that, I started writing about not our situation, but just how I felt within the moment. And then I started going to spoken word lounges just to like speak out into the world what was in me. Yeah. And so at those places is where I started seeing a community of people who would come up to me and who would be like, you know, hey, wow, that really encouraged me. That's a place that I was in 2 years ago, or that's a place I was at right now. You know, how is it that you're dealing? What is it that you've done? And I would ask questions, you know, well, how did you get through that? And I started seeing camaraderie. And I wanted to create a space where women could come together to encourage each other and give each other the blueprint of how they got through different seasons within their life. Right. But then also, how can we make money together? How can we change our trajectory? Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to make money to sustain myself, even though I'm going through XYZ, and right. you are trying to vice versa. So at that point, that's when I decided that I wanted to create a networking group, and I wanted it to start in downtown, because I wanted to show everybody in downtown, or the women who were there, there's so much more. This doesn't have to be your glass, this isn't your cap.
Right.
There's a huge world out there, and there's so much opportunity out there. I understand that some things you may have done, but that doesn't even define you. You know what I mean? It doesn't define you. You still have 60 more years to live. That's just a nugget, a right. piece, a minuscule moment within your life. And so within that, I wanted to start a networking group, met my now husband, who had already started a conference called I Am Brave. And then from there, we just kind of joined forces. I brought my people, he brought his people, and we created a conference where women could talk about marketing, business, leadership, personal development, spiritual development, and then also a space where women could get to know other women that could maybe they could hold hands in, or who could give a blueprint of how they got over something, or who maybe could give a handshake to somebody that would change the trajectory of their business life, or whatever the case may be. And so it's crazy. And I always I'm so happy the way that my life has gone. I'm so happy the way things went. I wouldn't change a moment of it. I really, really wouldn't. Me talking to you, me whatever happened between me and him, I thank God for it, because it wouldn't make me understand who I'm meant to be, and it wouldn't make me live out as loudly Vyky versus X, whoever I'm with. You know what I mean? And
that's so important, because my marriage was young. I was extremely young. So by the time I left, it was right before him. I was 24 when I left my husband. But I was that was really, really young, a really young thing. I think my last relationship showed me more of, I think some women stay because of the children. And at one point you decided to leave. When I left my last relationship, I would have never found that. You said, I'm listening to you, you said you're happy 3 times. And
oh my gosh,
you're happy in where you are now. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't be where I am either if it wasn't for the experiences that I went through. I wouldn't know what I want out of a man, what I need out of a man, if I didn't let go of that one. It was so hard to let go. It was hard to let go of our situation. It was hard to let go of my last situation. But if I didn't let it go, I wouldn't have found what was meant for me. So anybody listening out there that's sitting maybe in a situation where you're maybe financially you can't leave, maybe because of your kids. One, you guys will always be the parents of the kids.
Yeah.
You know, the way you guys co-parent, literally you can deserve an award. I tell him at the beginning, I'm like, bro, that's fucking weird. And then,
everybody always says that.
Right. But then I'm knowing the both of you guys in a different level, I was like, oh, but it fucking makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense for him to be around you and your new family and whatever the case may be. Us as women have to realize that we have to let go of certain situations, even if it feels wrong. It doesn't feel wrong. We all know in our gut. I have a friend currently that she's going through, and it's been years she's been with this person, and she's like, I'm ready, I'm done. And I'm like, you're done. But there will come a time when you're ready to go.
Right.
You might not be ready, but think about it. Don't waste any more time. I sometimes wish I didn't wait as long as I did to leave. I'm like, man, I could have started working on myself to be ready for this next person, which I did. And I advise, or my very non-expert advice that I give to people all the time. I started working on myself before I left my last relationship. So I went to therapy before I left. And for about 6-7 months, I was going by myself. So I emotionally detached myself and made myself stronger before I was able to leave. So when I left, I was good.
Right. Yeah.
And I had already built myself enough that when I got into a new situation, I was stronger and I was ready to receive the love that I really wanted from someone else. So I think you did that as well. You went and you're saying you built and you tried to find who you were, and then this person came along.
Yeah.
So everyone
right after everything happened, I realized that there were things that I was lacking of doing on my side of the relationship. So I tried to fix those things. To see what was salvageable. Like I'm a ride or die. Like if you know me, like I'm a ride or I'm like I will die. I'm a ride or die. And I didn't die and I didn't ride. So I don't know if I don't get that title anymore, but I still am a ride or die.
No, you rode for a while.
I rode
You
for
rode
as far as I
you
could.
Didn't die.
I didn't die.
They had to do like
a
defibrillator on you and brought you back to life.
But like I went out, I became like that person that I thought that he needed to be, but it just didn't do anything for me.
It's gotta be hard. Again, going back to the emotional and physical part of it, it is hard to come back from seeing something like that.
Yeah, it is. But like being in that situation, like going out to the club, now trying to be who I wasn't in the relationship. I guess I'm going to be the woman that's on his arm when he goes out like to the clubs, and that's who I have to be to show that he's in a relationship.
Fuck
and
that.
I'm his wife, all that jazz. Like I didn't enjoy being out at night. Like I don't enjoy it. Like I don't like people coming up to me and groping me and my man not being like, yo, get the fuck off her. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want. Like I don't like being touched. If I don't enjoy it. And then I don't like women looking at me with such hate. Like why do you hate me?
For no reason.
What did I do to you?
For no reason.
I don't even know you. We could be best friends.
Literally.
Why are you looking at me like I just stole your man?
And I would get that sometimes with him, but I realized, I'm like, y'all didn't look at him now once before this happened, because it was literally like a friendship that started. So I think once we started dating, they were like, oh, well, what is it about him?
Right.
We didn't see anything before. So what is it about him that has her on him?
Gotcha.
So then it starts putting like a limelight on this person. It doesn't necessarily have to be like him specifically. It's any man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like right now, and any man that's in a relationship, there's certain women, and I wish, and this is why I wanted to do this with you, because it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't want what a man does for another woman. They do it for that woman because they want to.
Yeah, you should go find your own man that does that for you in a relationship, not the man that's doing it for the woman.
And a man is gonna grow to want to be in a relationship on their own. Mm-hmm. You can't force them to do anything for you ever.
No.
And you can't force them to be faithful either. I tell my boyfriend now, he was major whore. Everyone knows that. Unfortunately, the whole world knows about everything about him because his best friend tells everything about him. But when he decided to do this, he chose that. Mm-hmm. And I tell him, and I told you guys last week on the episode, I don't go through his things. I don't make him be faithful. I threaten him sometimes. Okay, I do. I throw things at him for the hell. I'm like, what did you say? But I don't make him do any of these things. I don't make him visit me. I don't make him communicate. These are all things that he wants to do. If he didn't do them before, it's because he didn't want to. Mm-hmm. So we can't force anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. But as women, we sometimes look at ourselves like, oh, it was me. What did I do? I know I did that.
Oh, I did that hardcore. Are you kidding me?
I did it really hard too. And I was like, what does she have that I don't have?
Totally.
It's got to be the sex. It's got to be the sex.
I talked to you about that. I was like, is it the sex? Is it sex? What is it? Please tell me. It's like, your body is bad. All right, Vyky, you got to like step your game up. All right. Like, all right, that's one check. Okay, let me do that. All right, what is it? Like, what is it? Tell me more. Like, feed me. Tell me what it is that I'm lacking as a woman.
You asked for a tangible thing and there isn't one.
There was never one. And I'm here to say that like there never was a tangible anything. I talked to my therapist about it. I was like, I just want to know one thing. Just give me the thing. I asked him over and over, what is it? What is it? What is it? He couldn't tell me anything. That was the most frustrating thing to me ever. Why can't you tell me what the difference is? Why can't you tell me why? Just give me the why.
There never is.
It never happened. I won't ever get that. I've accepted that. I'm cool with it now.
And it took 7 years for us to have the conversation.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
And it was the craziest thing because I think when I reached out to you, like, I've been thinking about reaching out to you, and I'm like, girl, why didn't you? Please?
Because like I'm happy where I'm at right now, and so I don't think that when we see each other out or like whatever happened in the past, like with my relationship with him, it's moved past it, like way past it. Like I just told him, I just don't think we're good together in a relationship. We're best friends. We're just really, we don't work well as a relationship. With you, what else do we need to like get over, or like what more do we need to hash out so I can like be done with that and like keep moving forward? Because I have a conference that's talking about brave moments, and my brave moment was being able to step out of that relationship when I had gone through so much, and then to speak out about it. And so if I'm not talking to you about it, how am I, like, I want to hash it all out. I want to rectify any things that I did with you, and like I want to be able to ask any, even though I don't have any questions anymore, like ask any questions that I want to ask.
And I think we did all of that, and we decided on the fact that why bring each other down? Why hold grudges?
Totally.
Why think about, like, we are women as
you're human. I'm human.
And I don't, I have my skeptical, and we talked about the whole women empowerment thing, but for the real, like, women empowerment, we have to uplift each other, because who else will? One, we're women. Two, we're women of color. So we have all these things going against us that it's like people are holding us down. We can't move forward. So who, if we don't lift each other up, who is? A lot of men won't. They're doing their macho thing somewhere. It's very hard to find a man that's going to uplift us. So let's do it ourselves first, so men can see that we're lifting each other up, and then everyone else will rally behind us. So after 7 years, there was no reason for me to walk into a place and say, I don't like her, or that was my nigga's ex-wife, or blah, blah, blah. No, for what? Because I'm looking at you and I'm like, we're in the same space now. And even if we weren't, I want the best for you. I love seeing your kids. I love seeing you with pop shit.
Bleep, 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 bleep.
Okay. I love seeing you with everything that you have going on. So I don't know. It's just, as women, every woman out there, I want them to know, even with the issues that I've had with women before, because there are still women that I don't speak to because of the situation, because of how hurt I was. I'm like, were you ever really my friend? That's what I can't
how
go
hurt
back
I
to.
Was?
No.
They with were
our
hurt.
No. I'm hurt over when him and I break and they go straight to you. Like, but you didn't know her. But just because she's in the scene now, so I question out, were we even friends? Which is why I don't speak to a lot of people anymore. I left the scene, and I'm like, now it's been 8 years, and I'm like, do I, or however long it's been, 7 years, do I go back to it? Do I say anything to them? Do I rectify? Do I find out if it was ever a friendship? I don't know.
So for me, I think that what women do is we hold ourselves to a different standard than we hold men to ourselves, like personally. I think we do a lot of shaming on ourselves, and we do a lot of shaming on other women, when at the end of the day, man, we're just all human trying to figure out how to live in this thing called world filled with sin, and like that's just nature. Like I want what I want when I want it. Simple, right? So I think creating conversations where women cannot shame and bash each other, and that's kind of what it is that I wanted to create with I Am Brave. Like it's not so much an empowerment. Like I hate the word empowerment, and I think it's empowerment. I just can't stand empowerment. Just because like
empowerment took a different turn in the last couple of years.
It took a different turn. Everybody started using it. I think it got super saturated. But at the end of the day, I want you to be the best version of yourself.
Right.
There's things you've gone through. There's things I've gone through. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. I can see that as a human being.
Right.
I want you to be able to see that as a human being. Other people who are in your life, like rectifying old relationships. I don't know those relationships exactly that you're speaking towards, but I can only tell you from personal experience that I am very, very guarded when it comes to my social circle. Like my social circle is very determined by not narcissistic people. You know what I mean? Not people who Machiavellianists, which is they are nice to your face. They're like, yes, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden, like they're planning and scheming behind you to where they can come and like attack you from the side. People who are anxious. Like I I know where it is that I want to be in life. Like, it's the yacht, it's the planes. Like, I'm doing that. For me to get there, that means I can't have any drama in my life. For me to not have drama in my life, that means I need to be very, very self-aware of who it is that I'm allowing to come into my circle and be in my personal space that can distract me.
Who's a friend and who's an acquaintance and who is just a business
Totally. Taking inventory of everything and everybody. Right. I'm a constant doer of that because I know where it is that I want to be in life, and I want to only stay aligned with people who are like-minded and who want to go the same place that I want to go.
And if you're not going there, I'm dropping you off.
Yeah, I
the boat has made a stop. Get out.
Yeah. I don't think you need to keep them around for very long to drop them.
No. So we're going to take a really quick break, and we're going to come back to unsolicited advice. And that's just a break. I have to add an ad in there that they just sent me. It's not yesterday, but I didn't read over it, so I have no idea what the fuck it's Lola. Like tampons. I don't know.
Lola? Tampons?
Yeah, the organic tampons and
made out of
organic shit. I don't know. Some bullshit. Oh my God. I definitely have to cut this out. 5, so I can add an ad. Okay, cool. So we'll do unsolicited advice. And we're back. So I have a letter, and I'll really, it's not that long. I don't know if you've experienced anybody like this, but we'll see. It says, please help. I have a small problem, which actually now I know it's not a small problem, girl. There's a bigger one. There's a girl I work with. She also happens to be a close friend of mine who I know had eating problems with her eating habits before. My friends and I know this because she talks about it and is very open about what she went through. But my friends and I have realized that although she goes on and on about how much she eats, we have never actually seen her eat any of the food she says she does. Earlier in the year, one of our friends moved in with her and told us the same thing. She never sees her eat anything, only green tea and fruit. Having had an eating disorder before myself, I want to say something, having had an eating disorder before myself, I want to say something. Or say something to help her out in any way, but I don't want to offend her or make her feel bad about herself. What should I do? I don't want to see her get any worse because she's so skinny. It makes me so worried about her. Thanks for helping. I've never had anyone with an eating disorder. I did have Christina on the podcast episodes ago, and she came on here about positive body positivity and issues that she had with eating disorder. Like, it was really bad, like rotten teeth, things that she went through. And when I read this, I was like, man, I wouldn't know how to approach them. But I feel like if she had gone through an eating disorder before, I feel like she would remember how she was approached herself. Right. And if all of her friends know, I like that show, Intervention.
Oh, I love Intervention.
I cry every time.
Okay.
If the dad cries, I'm crying. Not everybody else can cry, but if the dad cries, I'm crying. It's done. It's over. So maybe getting everyone together, letting her know you guys know what it is that you guys can help with. I feel like denial is a big thing because I see an eating disorder as any other addiction.
Right, yeah.
And I have dealt with that or seen it. So, maybe not attacking and coming with love and some type of way to her, and maybe making yourself relatable to what she's going through. Girl, I get it. I've been there. The only eating problem I have is I eat too damn much and I don't stop.
But if she's already gone through it before, then she knows what words could have been used during her time of like, aha. And so taking that aha moment that it took for her to figure out, oh shoot, I'm in this. How do I get out of this? And then kind of trying to navigate into having a conversation with her, with friends, loved ones, seeing even if you can get in contact with maybe like family, yeah. Letting the family know, hey, I've been through this before. I'm seeing some signs. I don't know if you've noticed, but
how can I help?
Because
I feel like family might be a little bit harsher sometimes than a friend could, because they're they're closer. They might be a little bit more invested or scared. I think fear of a family of somebody passing away or hurting themselves can make them be harsher towards them. So think about those trigger words. Like, as you're talking, I'm thinking trigger. There's probably something that triggered you while you went through it. Right. And you want to maybe alert the family, don't do this. Right. Because that will trigger her into getting worse. And she's obviously in denial if she's telling you guys about how she went to Golden Corral to the buffet and like fucked it up. Because she really didn't. She's like 90 pounds.
Yeah.
But finding something for it, this is a hard one just because it's hard, but it's not. You've been through it.
Right.
For me, it would be really hard to talk to someone who's lying about eating because I'm like, girl, you don't be hungry like me?
Yeah.
Because I'm hungry.
Right.
You sure you don't want to eat this bread with me?
And she's just going to like shut you down.
Right. And that doesn't make any sense to me. And I feel like the people that it doesn't make sense to, like, I don't want crack. If I see a crackhead, I'd be like, just stop. To me, I'll be like, just stop.
Yeah.
Anxiety for me. I'm very anxious. I deal with anxiety. And one of my biggest triggers during an anxiety attack is just stop. Just relax. If I could, nigga, I would. Like, the fuck you mean? I think that if you go and tell her, just eat, she'd be like, bitch, if I could, I would, but I can't.
Right.
You know, so don't come at her that way. Just say, I'm worried about you. Maybe go with compassion.
Totally.
Instead of judgment.
Totally. Just
Don't be like,
again,
are you too skinny?
No, you can't say that. You can't say that because she'd be like, oh, thank you.
I need to get skinnier now.
No. I would talk to her just the way that you would have wanted to be talked to when you had your aha moment.
For sure. And then our last segment, which is my favorite one, and I like to yell out there, I like to do my shit talk. We're from Florida, where the crazy people are from. And we always have something. Now, there's like a new famous man called the Florida Man.
Who?
Everybody. All the crazy Florida men in Florida. You see every news article, and it's like, Florida man puts baby in the oven. Florida man beats up ATM. It's always Florida man.
Yes.
But one of our very first crazy Florida men was George Zimmerman. When this whole stand the ground law basically took into place, and you know, we row for Trayvon Martin and his family and what they've been through, because I feel like they still to this day they haven't received any type of you can't get paid back for losing your life, period. There's nothing you can get back that'll make it any better. But George Zimmerman here, I feel like he's been kind of like this infamous celebrity in a way. He wants to be known, he wants to be heard from, he wants to be seen,
he wants to be in the public
at all times.
Yeah. A
little bit different from Casey Anthony. So I've talked about the fact that I went to school with Casey before.
You did not.
Yeah, she went to Colonial, and then she played ball for Liberty, and I played ball for Conway, so we played against each other. Yeah, never friends. She was just around. The only thing I remember from her was being in the, what is it called where they wrap up your ankles and stuff?
Triage. I don't know.
Whatever the fuck this shit was called. She would go and get like shit tied up and stuff, and there was nothing wrong with her. She was just a liar.
Okay.
But that's all I remember from her. I was never friends with her. But George Zimmerman is kind of the same, and now I guess he's off the limelight. He's like, how do I get back? So he decided to sue Trayvon Martin's family for more than $100 million.
Gosh, that annoys me so much.
First of all, do they have $100 million?
Do you think they have $100 million?
From what?
Nothing. Their son. I can't.
Their son is gone. And you know
can't.
what? I was on live and I was like, you know, when Trayvon Martin passed away, and I was like, you know what? I need to change my language on that. When he was killed.
Right.
Because that baby was killed.
Just because George was acquitted because he got to stand his ground doesn't mean that it was
not cold blood murder.
You couldn't do anything else. You had to stand your ground from this child.
With Skittles?
With Skittles?
In a hoodie. I'm ever since this Trayvon Martin, although that this has been going on for years in our community and in this country, social media, I think this is 8 years ago. So I think that social media has been enhancing, you know, well, we know this, enhancing everything that we see on a regular basis. But he's suing Trayvon Martin's parents, their attorneys. He's saying that there was a conspiracy along with malicious prosecution and defamation. Sure, white man.
Right.
The Martin family responded with a statement saying that there's no evidence to back Zimmerman's contentious and that he was a victim of conspiracy. He was acquitted of all charges of shooting Martin, who was 17 and unarmed at the time. So if you don't know about this case, I don't know where you've been, but maybe you're from the West Coast.
Right.
You know,
right,
because
right.
The other day I was talking about like Pulse and somebody didn't know about it, but I'm like, you know what? I don't know much about the Las Vegas shooting.
Right.
I know it happened, but I don't know in depth as I know the Pulse or Trayvon because they were here in our backyard, you know? So Zimmerman and his lawyers said that, which is Larry Klayman, they alleged that Rachel Gentile also, who was a key witness for the prosecution, she was supposed to be Trayvon Martin's friend that was on the phone with him while everything was going on. They're saying that she's an imposter. That it was actually
imposter.
Right. They're saying that it was actually her half-sister who was actually on the phone, but the half-sister didn't want to testify, so they put Rachel on. So she really wasn't the person on the phone with him. Oh, they're doing a lot.
Wow.
And I feel like this is so selfish. It's disgusting. And I'm giving this shit talk to him just because you're rehashing this pain for this family again.
And financially also, you're bringing pain on top of pain. For them to be able to respond to his suit that
they have to pay.
They have to pay.
So
it is not just okay, let me respond and type up this. No, they have to pay. So you're making them pay on top of pay on top of pay. And you want money? You want restitution for what
killing
you
their
did?
son.
Like that right there is, I'm so sorry, but a sociopath. Somebody
Literally.
who has no empathy at all for the wrongdoings that they have done. He has no regret, remorse. He's like, I stood my ground. What are you trying to say?
What ground? You fucking cracker?
He was going to come and he was going to, you don't know. I saw a look in his eye. You saw a look in his eyes, and now you want $100 million from the family because their 17-year-old son had a look of wanting Skittles? Like, that's what you wanted?
Or they didn't want, or maybe he didn't want you following him. He was probably afraid of you.
Exactly.
I would be afraid of you as well at 17 years old.
On a scale of 0 to even, I can't even. I can't. Like, it annoys me. When I heard that, I think I was walking in the living room yesterday and I heard that and I was like, he wants what? Are you kidding?
$100 million.
That is when you know you just want media attention.
That's it.
Media attention.
Because where are they supposed to pull $100
They're
million
not
from their ass?
Girl, $100 million.
Do you
You'd be
think-
lucky to get that from the state of Florida, let alone a
No.
family. I can't.
My shit, you should know. I haven't talked about it yet. Actually, I haven't released it, but it was about restitution of people that are falsely incarcerated, and they're let out with basically nothing. So you guys are gonna get the episode soon, but this state doesn't even do much for them. They send them off with the clothes they had 30 years ago,
I know.
and they keep it moving. So I'm like, you want $100 million? Come on now. They didn't have life insurance on that baby.
No.
You know? So where did they come up? Maybe they have a book or two. I'm not sure if they do. I know there is a book out, and I think it's from his attorneys. But at the end of the day, you see somebody else making money off of it, and now you want money.
I can't.
Come on, get over it. Like,
George,
honestly,
I can't, man.
like,
Stop.
fuck you big time, George.
Stop. Just
Like-
stop. Go home. Go back to doing whatever you were doing in your life, but just stop.
Just sit somewhere,
stop it.
soak in your murderous like spirit. Like
He enjoys it. It's like he feeds from it.
Literally.
Like, he wants more. Like, whoa, wait, the attention's off of me. Let me like pop back up in the scene.
Every time.
Feed me. I want to get more hate letters. Where here's a hate letter. Stop.
It's like you guys. Oh, there's more. Like they're killing more black people. It wasn't just me.
Ha ha. Look at me.
Do you remember that I killed Trayvon? Here
I
I
want
am
money
back.
for it because I didn't
Right.
get in jail.
Right.
I didn't go to jail for it.
Oh,
Okay.
disgusting. But I usually ask my guests, do they have something they want to talk shit about, something that might have happened recently? It doesn't have to be with someone, something that might have happened to you. I usually talk shit about Ayana because she pisses me off. Whooped her ass this morning. But I won't talk about her today. Maybe next week. Is there anything that has happened? Maybe it might have that you've seen.
Oh gosh, I feel like I just had something with it. Oh my gosh, can we talk about the impeachment?
We can.
Are we like not gonna have that be a shit talking moment?
So here's the thing about me. I don't want him to be impeached.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I brought up a sour.
No. It's not a sour one. I don't want him to be impeached because the second he gets impeached, we're left with Mike Pence.
Agreed.
The second we're left with Mike Pence, I think Mike Pence is calculated. I think Mike Pence is the devil. I think Mike Pence knows the law.
Yeah, but he can't do that much in like 8 months. He can't. I mean,
You
you're
never
right.
know.
You're
He
right.
is a
you're
white
right.
man
But
in
then
the Oval Office that
Mike
knows what he's
Pence
doing.
Is as like wrapped up in the mess as Trump is. So will it be him or will it be Nancy Pelosi? Is
she
the
after
third?
Mike?
I believe so. Don't quote me on this,
You
but
don't, I don't know either.
my husband told me, and he's leading me right now in my information. So I believe what he told me is she's next in line, and I wouldn't mind her for like a good 8 months. I know it's just I've been enjoying
mind a woman,
watching
period, for a while.
CNN. Like this has been the best last 3 years ever.
Listen,
I gotta
this
be
has been a
honest.
telenovela. You hear me? This has been like a
¿Qué?
show.
Come again? Say it one more time.
This has been a show, an ongoing show. He is I think Charlamagne calls him a celebrity in chief.
Yes.
Yeah, so He's not a commander in chief. I think he's hilarious.
He is hilarious. He makes me laugh every single day.
You have to laugh at him. You have to laugh at his tan. You have to laugh at his toupee. You have to laugh at the things that he says. His tweets are hilarious.
I know, but he needs to get out of office now.
Oh, for sure. And I think that I'm going to bring back for my listeners, James Smith, who's an amazing attorney here, and he's just like literally probably the smartest man I've ever sat in front of. When I sit in front of him, I'm like, damn, I'm dumb. But he has amazing stories. I think I'm going to bring him back to speak about some of these things, because every year and during all of the elections, I tell you guys to go out and vote, especially locally, not just the presidential thing. But I think I want for the show just a breakdown of what's going on with the law and what goes next. And if he does get impeached, what happens once he gets impeached? Because I think we want him impeached, and I'm like, yeah. But then at the same time, I'm like, nah. There could be other worse things that can happen with some more white people that can go into office.
But I just want to see it in my lifetime. I want to see an impeachment.
I've never seen an impeachment either. Did Nixon get impeached?
He just left office.
Before he got impeached.
Yes, before they got him.
So has anyone ever been impeached? I don't think anyone's ever been impeached.
There's been, 4 presidents that have been like impeachment has talked about. Clinton, he didn't leave. Nobody did anything. Nixon resigned. And then I think there was one like a Jefferson or something that did something. But I want to see one in my lifetime.
Right before
in my
the
lifetime.
election. Yes. And then I know Kamala Harris just dropped out, so we're not
just dropped out.
We're not gonna have a woman. I was like, damn, I was on the fence with her.
Yeah,
I really don't know. There's so many fucking Democrats going.
There's so many, and now Bloomberg is in there now.
Oh Jesus, I have all these rich men going in there.
I know.
Like we're about to we cannot have another billionaire. Like we can't. I think I'm very focused on policies and what affects me. I've said some fucked up shit in this podcast, and it's the great fact that I have this platform where I've spoken about even what we spoke about earlier, like, do you date married men? Well, I'm not part of their vows and certain things like that. And then I'm like, well, that is there's from the beginning to now 92 episodes, 92 weeks of this. You guys have seen my growth, and I'm allowed to change how I feel about certain things. And I remember at one point I'm like, well, if Trump says that he's going to take off my student loans, he got my vote. But then I'm like, damn, I shouldn't say that. That was very irresponsible of me to say because of my student loans, because I would be doing something selfish that then can hurt my community and my child. You know, I have a little girl of color in this world that she will be treated a certain way because I have someone like that in office.
Right.
So we just have to be very conscious of that.
It's just become such a marketing platform that they can say anything they want to say. That doesn't mean when they get in office, they have to do anything they said that they're going to do.
Politicians are the biggest liars.
Barack Obama didn't lie as much.
He didn't. I listen, I don't care. And if he lied, we gonna zip to that one.
A lot of the things he said he was gonna do, he did.
And even if he lied to me so good.
So good, right?
He lied so he was like your husband, girl. He lied real good.
I was like, tell me more. Tell me.
Till this, like that man
whisper
speaks,
sweet nothings in my ear.
He is. I saw a picture of him recently. They're Christmas, and he's like getting older, and I'm like, wow, he's really aging. But Barack Obama is like that man. He gave me hope.
Totally.
And even if behind closed doors there was something else going on, that man gave me hope and gave men in my family, men that I love, hope as well. Trump screwed all that up, and
I mean, he gave Trump as well, thinking like, okay, if this mixed man can become president, then I can become president,
which also lets us know that we can do whatever the fuck we want to do. If Obama can make it,
have the intention, the want, need, and desire, you absolutely can.
I feel like anybody, when there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, absolutely.
For anyone,
if you put in the work,
you have to put in the work. I teach my class Idea to Launch, and I am extremely passionate about podcasting. I think putting your story out there. I've told you, I think before, you need to start one like ASAP. So we need to get you on it. Because you can do it from home.
Yeah,
like you're seeing me doing it from home right now. You literally can do it.
So January 2020, I will be releasing Moments with Vyky.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I also have a course coming out called Become Your Own Business Model. So that will be launching in January.
See, yes. You have a voice, and there's so many other people that can be coming from. Not like I'm not gonna say nothing. Like you're working a 9 to 5, or we're in a marriage, or you're getting out of college, and you're like, what do I do? You have a voice, you have a story, you have something to say that will resonate with someone who you're on chapter 3, someone's in chapter 0.
Right,
they're
exactly.
looking for the book to pick up, so they'll pick up your book. So, excuse me, everyone is an expert at something.
Even if you feel like you aren't, you are.
No, you literally are. And
no,
and
everybody
being an
needs to
expert,
understand that they have something to give to the world.
Absolutely, because we're all in a different chapter than someone else. And there's someone behind you that can learn from your experiences. And that's what I use this platform for. So whether I do it for podcasting, I want you to have your voice out there, your expertise out there, what you love, and you're going to impact other people. Sometimes I'm like, if I just impact one person, I did my job.
Right.
You know, if I touch one person, I did what I needed to do. And it makes me feel better about myself. So You said moments with Vyky?
Yeah, moments. Because I have a
show, podcast.
Moments with Vyky. Underneath my I Am Brave umbrella. But yes, because I always talk about moments in the mirror. And so like I want to talk about brave moments, business moments. I
love that name.
Just different moments. Yeah.
If y'all pick up moments in the mirror.
I know.
Is that a podcast already?
No. So I didn't want to do moments in the mirror because that was too like niche down. So I wanted to just make moments because like we can talk about moments in the mirror, brave moments, business moments, badass moments, whatever type of moment we want to. Men moments, like any type of moment. I just wanted to make it moments with Vyky.
Okay. I like it. I love it. And your name is very what's the word I'm looking for? Unique.
Je ne sais quoi.
Right. Who else is Vyky? Nobody. Your
Vyky,
daughter.
Vyky, my baby girl.
Your baby. That's it. I've never heard your name in my life.
I'm so blessed to be able to have named her my name. Like I look at her and I'm like, oh, you have my name. She's gonna be the way better version than me.
Because you're so there excited to give that to her. Like these whoopings I give Ayana, I'm like, come on, girl. You got to do better than I did. Come on,
you
girl.
are going to do better than I did.
Right now? Wait till you get to these teenage years.
No, I am. I have to.
Oh, you're there. Retire. But I think with a boy, it's completely different. I had a conversation recently with another podcaster. Her name's Ashley. And we were her think her son is 12. I think you're right there, right? 11, 12?
Yep. 12, 13.
Hate these motherfuckers.
Yep.
You know, and I was talking to people about how we're definitely ending right now. Okay. That the fact that it's okay to say sometimes you just don't fucking like your kid.
Yeah.
Today I don't like you,
but I love you.
I love you, but you are like yesterday.
Go away.
She broke in here. So when I went to, I was at an event yesterday, which was Industry Night at Millennia, a studio that she owns here in Orlando. So if you guys are looking for anything
creative, music production, but photography, videography, all that. Jazz.
All of that. So Millennia, go, and I'm going to tag Vyky stuff in under this. So I'm with you last night, and I have a camera in here. I have cameras all in the house. I watch her, no fucks given, Vyky, walking in here that I had locked, found how to break in here, grabbed the phone out of one of these drawers, went back out, came back, put it back before I got home. Knows that she's on camera.
Did she know though?
No, she knows.
Okay, maybe she forgot.
No.
Okay.
Didn't, because the last time she did it, so I had hid her phone in here, and she crawled, and you hear her on camera saying, because this has microphone, and she goes, oh, fuck. At first, she cursed. She goes, oh, fuck. The camera's facing right on it, too. I'm like, you piece of fucking shit. You don't care about anything.
That is so funny.
So this time, she didn't stand there and be like, damn, it's right by the camera. This time she was like, do. Yeah, I don't give a fuck if this motherfucker sees
but
it.
You're not here now, are you?
Right.
Nah.
So when I got home, she was already asleep. So this morning, I'm like, so you just didn't give a fuck? See, I'm still giving her a shit talk because this girl really irks my fucking nerves. I'm like, so you just didn't care that you were on camera? I had to make a phone call. So I'm like, maybe she had to call her daddy. Like, she was upset. Yeah, I had to make a phone call. To who? My friend. You my wrist. Oh my God, I'm thinking you want to call your dad about what's going on. You're upset about
giving her the benefit of the doubt.
No, she ain't shit. So that's the whole teenage thing going on. I'm hoping to do an episode soon with these other podcasts
with her
moms. No, fuck her.
With
At this point, I'm done. I have a whole podcast with her that I won't record because I'm like, I feel like I am rewarding you by, we have 13 going on 30.
Oh, I
it's
love
the name of the
that.
I love that movie.
I love that.
So it's like I'm in the 30s. She had just turned into a teenager, like 13. You just go into teenage years. So we'll record more episodes for 13 going on 30 coming soon. But it's our dynamic, especially from mom to daughter.
Total. I love it. Oh, yeah, you get me excited for a 13-year-old girl.
She is. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to tag everything for Vyky. And do you have anything coming outside of moments for Vyky? Is there anything else you want to tell us?
A lot of things launching in January. My IG is Vyky, Vyky, Refi. That on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, I guess anything else.
Right.
My name is pretty unique. I always get my name.
Who else has it?
And then in January, we have an I Am Brave mixer coming at the end of the month. Opening up of our studio coming at the end of the month. And then we're going nationwide with I Am Brave.
Shut up.
In Atlanta in April and then in Miami in July.
I know, that's
I'm
right.
Super excited for that.
I told you I would go back. I would go to the next one. And
you're in September 25th, 2020.
Okay.
Here in Orlando.
This date shit.
Yep. I have to plan ahead.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
I will be at I Am Brave.
You guys heard it here. If she's not there, I want restitution. I want my 100 million.
Suing you, motherfucker. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You guys, make sure to share with your friends. Go on iTunes, rate and review. It always helps the podcast. It's something that's huge for us as podcasters. And if you're enjoying this episode, you know, I'm giving y'all free content, motherfuckers, every fucking week. So I haven't cursed a lot this week. I'm doing so good, yo, bitches. You know, make sure you go ahead and rate and review. I really love doing what I do. I love the fact that this platform has allowed me to bring people like you on. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a story that who else is going to talk about this?
Right.
I'm sure there's going to be people out here like, they did what? Who? Why? You know, and it's showing our growth. It's showing that we can change as people and we shouldn't be held to our mistakes from our past.
Totally.
So that is what Shit I'm 30 is all about. And I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.